Welcome to the longest running quiz show in the area. Categories. High school students compete to answer questions on topics from art to science, history to current events. And now, here's your categories host, John Bartell.
Hi, welcome to Categories. Today we're bringing you a great matchup between the Blue Valley Southwest Timberwolves and the Shawnee Mission East Lancers. Let's go ahead and meet our contestants first from Southwest.
My name is Seth Wingeter and I am a junior.
I'm Zach Novikov, I'm a junior.
I am Andrew Krishna, I'm a senior.
I'm Jack Fiorella, I'm a junior.
I'm Michael Magyar, and I'm a junior.
And our contestants from East.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie, and I'm a senior.
Hi, I'm Bethany, and I'm a senior.
I'm Nate, and I'm a junior.
I'm Henry, and I'm a senior.
I'm Clara, and I'm a senior.
Fantastic. Here on the first round in categories, we will take turns answering questions. If a team responds correctly, they earn a point for their team. If they respond incorrectly, the other team will get a chance to steal. We did a coin toss before we started taping. It was won by the Lancers. So Lancers, here is the first category, and the category is film. Which of Dorothy Gale's three friends did she meet first? Mackenzie.
The Scarecrow.
It is the Scarecrow. World geography for you Timberwolves. Name the body of water between the following pair of cities: Caracas and Kingston.
The Caribbean?
It is the Caribbean. Michael, just make sure I call on you first, okay? All right. All right, back to you, East, with general knowledge. An observer on a moving ship notices the altitude of Polaris increases each night. Local solar noon occurs at the same time each day. In what direction is the ship moving? Henry.
North.
It is moving north. Southwest. You have the next category. It is familiar phrases. It's a fairly long question, so please pay attention. Familiar phrases today are often employ the name of an animal. A person who always gets there first is an early bird. Give me the appropriate phrase for this. A person immune from criticism, given a nickname that brings to mind a dietary custom in India. Time on that. Back to you, Lancers, with familiar phrases that often today employ the name of an animal. Example, a person who always gets there first is an early bird. Give me the appropriate phrase for this. A person immune from criticism is given a nickname that brings to mind dietary custom in India. Clara.
A holy cow.
You're close. It's a sacred cow. Okay. Sacred cow. Rio, can we challenge that question? You certainly can. All right, as we go back to the Lancer for current events. A judge in what state rejected isolation for Nurse Casey Hickox, who was forced into quarantine upon returning from treating Ebola patients in West Africa? Henry.
New York.
It is not New York. Timberwolves, chance to steal this current events question. A judge in what state rejected isolation for Nurse Casey Hickox, who was forced into quarantine upon returning from treating Ebola patients in West Africa, though she wasn't sick? Jack.
Maine.
It is Maine. Timberwolves, you get the next question, is world history. What is the name of the man who is given credit for the creation of a political entity called communism? Michael.
Karl Marx.
Karl Marx. U.S. history, East. Ron Ziegler told reporters, the president is aware of what's going on. That's not to say that something is going on. Identify Ron Ziegler. Clara?
The White House press secretary.
I cannot accept that. Timberwolves, you have a chance to steal this U.S. history question. Ron Ziegler told reporters the president is aware of what's going on. That's not to say that something is going on. Identify Ron Ziegler. He is the press secretary, but we needed specifically Richard Nixon's press secretary. Timberwolves, we do go back to you with poetry. What would you call a lyric poem dedicated to the exaltation of its subject?
An epic.
Zach, it is not an epic. Not an epic. Lancers, chance to steal this poetry category. Mackenzie.
An ode.
It is an ode. East, you get the next category, science species. Originally from India, this small mammal was imported into the Caribbean in the 19th century to combat rats in the sugar fields. Name this ferret-like animal. Mackenzie?
A weasel.
I cannot accept weasel. Timberwolves, chance to steal this species category. Originally from India, this small mammal was imported into the Caribbean in the 19th century to combat rats in the sugar fields. And Arup?
Mongoose.
It is a mongoose. Southwest, coming back to you with religion. The Welsh Church Act of 1914 declared that the Church of England was no longer the official Church of Wales. What is this country's largest Protestant church? Seth.
Methodist.
Methodist. Very good. Back to you, Lancers. U.S. government. Peyton Randolph, Henry Middleton, John Hancock, John Jay, Thomas McKean, John Hanson, Thomas Mifflin, and Richard Henry Lee. Each of these men served as president of what legislative body? Mackenzie.
The Senate.
Cannot accept the Senate. Timberwolves, chance to steal this U.S. government question. Peyton Randolph, Henry Middleton, John Hancock, John Jay, Thomas McKean, John Hanson, Thomas Mifflin, and Richard Henry Lee. Each of these men served as president of what legislative body?
Continental Congress.
Oh, hold on. Seth?
Continental Congress.
Continental Congress. I know you guys are anxious to answer the questions, but please make sure that you are wait until I call on you. Timberwolves, you do get the next question. It is history, the category. In 1959, which massive project was completed in cooperative venture between Canada and the United States? Anarup?
The Manhattan Project.
Cannot accept the Manhattan Project. Lancers, chance to steal this history question. In 1959, which massive project was completed, a cooperative venture between Canada and the United States? Clara?
The Panama Canal.
It's not the Panama Canal. It is the St. Lawrence Seaway. St. Lawrence Seaway. Lancers, coming back to you with geography. First sighted from air in 1935, the Sentinel Mountain Range is the tallest mountain range on what continent? Henry?
North America.
Cannot accept North America. Timberwolves, a chance to steal this geography question. First sighted from air in 1935, the Sentinel Mountain Range is the tallest mountain range on what continent? Michael?
Antarctica.
Antarctica. Back to you, Timberwolves, with fine arts. All the paintings created by artist Edvard Munch are collected in one museum in a European city. What city? Seth?
Prague.
It is not Prague. East, you have a chance to steal this fine arts category. All of the paintings created by Edvard. Nathan?
Copenhagen.
It is not Copenhagen. It's Oslo. Oslo, Norway. Lancers, geometry is your question. What is the correct name for an angle formed when you add an obtuse angle to a right angle? Mackenzie?
A straight angle.
I cannot accept straight angle. Timberwolves, chance to steal this geometry question. What is the correct name for the angle formed when you add an obtuse angle to a right angle?
Supplementary angle.
Cannot accept supplementary. It's called a reflex angle. A reflex angle. Timberwolves, the next question belongs to you. It's vocabulary. What 7-letter word describes the scientific examination of a dead body for the purpose of determining the cause of death? Jack?
Autopsy.
Autopsy. Lancers, back to you with general knowledge. What German sausage is named for the cracking sound the skin of the sausage makes when bitten into? Mackenzie?
Schnitzel.
It is not schnitzel. Southwest, chance to steal this general knowledge category. What German sausage is named for the cracking sound? Michael?
The knockwurst.
It is knockwurst. World history, the category belonging to you, Southwest. What peninsula was called Chosen by the Japanese when it was their puppet state from 1392 to 1910? Jack?
The Korean.
Korean peninsula. Back to you, East, with literature. The following men were all publishers of the type of book that became a bestseller in colonial America and is still popular today. The men are Robert Bailey Thomas, James Franklin, Ben Franklin. What type of book? Clara?
An almanac.
It is an almanac. Back to you, Timberwolves. Current events. Name the founder of Virgin Galactica, who said that the company would continue developing. Michael?
Richard Branson.
It is Richard Branson. Back to you, Lancers, with economics. In political science, it is the policy of trade barriers or erecting trade barriers to foreign competitors so domestic producers retain much of the domestic market. What is this practice called? Henry?
Tariffs.
I cannot accept tariffs. Timberwolves, economics is the category. In political science, it is the policy of erecting trade barriers to foreign.
Tariff system.
I cannot accept tariff system. It is actually protectionism. Protectionism. Southwest, we are going back to you with science chemistry. Name two of the three types of chemical bonds that combine atoms into molecules and compounds. Zach?
Ionic and covalent.
Very good. The other one would be coordinate. Lancers, back to you with philosophy. What philosophical outlook do Soren Kierkegaard, Friedrich Nietzsche, Henry?
Nihilism.
I cannot accept nihilism. Timberwolves, philosophy is the question. What philosophical outlook do Soren Kierkegaard, Friedrich Nietzsche, Karl Jaspers, and Jean-Paul Sartre have in common? Michael?
Psychology.
It is not psychology. It's existentialism. Existentialism. Timberwolves, coming back to you with an art terminology question. This simple method of applying a design or lettering involves a stiff card in which a pattern has been cut. The card is laid on a flat surface and paint is applied, leaving the design where the card was cut away. Name this technique. Seth?
Stencil.
Stencil. Back to you, East, with classical music. What poem is sung by a chorus during the last movement of the Ninth Symphony of Ludwig van Beethoven? Nathan?
Ode to Joy.
Ode to Joy. Very good. And with that, Siren, that does denote the end of our first half. Southwest has taken a sizable lead here with a score of 13 to Shawnee Mission East 5. As we head into halftime of our program, we are going to go to a student from each squad as they will give us our campus update for what is happening around their building. So we're first going to go to Zach in Southwest. What is happening with the Timberwolves?
Actually, this week notes our beginning of our biggest charitable event of the entire year. We do something called Hoots for Hope, which is when the entire school comes together and plays against each other in charitable basketball. We raise the singular most for a single organization for, I think it's Children's Mercy. On top of that, our debate team is doing very well. We were in semis of KCKCC this weekend, which is a very big tournament, and this marks the first week of our winter sports. So awesome. Southwest is doing pretty well.
All right, so with this basketball tournament, you say everybody plays in it, so it's like 1,000 versus 1,000?
So you sign up, and you play in 4v4 with different themes, and it's $10 per person. So last year we raised about $6,000 to $7,000 for the hospital of our choice.
Oh, fantastic. That's good stuff. And over to East, Henry, you're giving the update for the Lancers. What's happening over on Mission?
There's a lot of stuff going over at Shawnee Mission East. So our football team was the #1 seed going into the playoffs, and we beat Lawrence last week. So we're looking to keep that rolling and win again this week. We're having auditions for our winter musical, Little Shop of Horrors, starting this week. And our journalism program just took, I believe, first in the nation with the Pacemaker Award. And then lastly, our debate team just won the KCKCC tournament this last week, and we qualified a team to the Tournament of Champions for the first time in about 7 years. So that was pretty exciting.
Lots of good things. Lots of stuff to brag about from both schools. Awesome. Great things. All right, so as we head into the second round, it is our lightning round. And we traditionally start our lightning round with our look and listen question. We have a monitor here and speakers so our contestants here in the studio can play, as well as you can play along at home. The look and listen question is worth 2 points. And contestants, be reminded, when someone rings in, we cannot replay what the look and listen question is. Matter of fact, I believe this one is only a listen question. And you may ring in when I'm finished with the question. So here we go, hands on buzzers. Here's our look and listen question. Identify the melodic technique heard here. Mackenzie.
Yodeling.
It is yodeling. That's awesome. I love yodeling. All right. As we head into the rest of the lightning round, we place questions on the floor for either team to answer. If a team responds correctly, they earn a point. If they respond incorrectly, the other team still gets a chance to steal. So both teams, hands on buzzers. U.S. geography is the category. Identify the only U.S. state whose 2-letter postal abbreviation is a preposition. Clara.
Oregon.
Cannot accept Oregon. Sorry. Timberwolves, same question. Anaru.
Indiana.
Indiana. Very good. Both teams, geography, another geography question. Of farming, insurance, mining, and fishing, what is the largest occupation in Arkansas? Zach.
Farming.
Farming. Science, biology for both teams. What results when a single zygote develops into 2 organisms? Please be specific. Bethany.
Identical twins.
Identical twins. We were looking for that key, identical. Mythology starts with E. It's the Greek counterpart of the Roman goddess of the dawn, Aurora. Eos. Eos. Literature for both teams. It's a fairly long question. So here we go. His book, The Silver Locusts, is a haunting account of Mars in the early 21st century. The Golden Apples of the Sun and Something Wicked This Way Comes. Mackenzie.
Ray Bradbury.
Very good. U.S. military for both teams. At which U.S. military academy does the rite of passage into the Long Gray Line take place? Nathan.
West Point.
West Point. Sports for both teams. What does the white flag mean in a NASCAR race? Michael.
Final lap.
Final lap. Geography, specifically cities. Okay, it's a fairly complicated question. Place these 4 cities in order from north to south. London, Montreal, Moscow, Stockholm. Michael.
Stockholm, Montreal, London. The last one.
I'm sorry,
I didn't
cannot
get the last
accept
one.
that. Lancer's chance to steal this geography cities question. Place these 4 cities in order from north to south. London, Montreal, Moscow, Stockholm. Nathan.
London, Stockholm, Montreal, Moscow.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Stockholm's the most northerly, Moscow, London, followed by Montreal. Presidential history for both teams. Who was president at the time that Alaska was purchased from Russia? Seth.
Andrew Johnson.
Andrew Johnson. World religions. Arrange these religious leaders in chronological order. Luther, the Apostle Paul, Confucius, and Buddha. Seth.
Paul, Buddha, Confucius, Luther.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Lancer's chance to steal this world religions category. Arrange these great religious leaders in chronological order. Luther, Paul, Confucius, Buddha. Henry.
Paul, Confucius, Buddha, Luther.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Confucius was first, followed by Buddha, then Paul, ending up with Luther. Science, climate is the category. What would happen to America's Midwest if temperatures increased by 2 to 5 degrees by the... Zach.
It would flood.
I'm sorry, cannot accept that. Lancers, chance to steal this climate question. What would happen to America's Midwest if temperatures increased by 2 to 5 degrees by the mid-21st century? Henry.
Droughts causing crop failure.
Yeah, we would accept that. Yep, nothing would grow. Literature, Charles Nordhoff and James Norman Hall wrote Mutiny on the Bounty. Who wrote The Caine Mutiny? Herman Walk wrote that. Vocabulary. Does indigenous mean the opposite of foreign, digestible, deep? Henry.
Foreign.
Foreign. Sports history. Who was the first U.S. president to throw out the first pitch to start a Major League Baseball season? Seth.
George W. Bush.
That is incorrect. Lancers, chance to steal this sports history question. Far cry from military. Who was the first U.S. president to throw out the first pitch to start a Major League Baseball season? Henry.
Ronald Reagan.
It was not Ronald Reagan. It was that paragon of fitness, William Howard Taft. Fine arts, theater for both teams. In what Edward Albee play do George and Martha and Nick and Honey play Humiliate the Host? Henry.
A Christmas Carol.
Cannot accept A Christmas Carol. Timberwolves, chance to steal this fine arts theater question. In what Edward Albee play?
A Christmas Story.
It is not A Christmas Story. It's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? U.S. geography for both teams. In which body of water does the Snake River empty? Seth.
Great Salt Lake.
Cannot accept Great Salt Lake. Lancers, chance to steal this U.S. geography question. Into which body of water does the Snake River empty? Bethany.
Hudson Bay.
It is not Hudson Bay. It empties into the Columbia River. Ancient history for both teams. Born Lucius Domitius Henobarbus, this notoriously cruel and depraved emperor of Rome came to power in 54 AD and died after 14 years of reign. Who was he? Mackenzie.
Nero.
It is Nero. General knowledge. A clock reads 6 minutes to 9. If the hands were exchanged, what would it read?
11 o'clock.
I'm sorry, Seth, that is incorrect. Lancers, chance to steal this general knowledge question. A clock reads 6 minutes to 9. If the hands were exchanged, what would it read? Nathan.
11:45.
I'm sorry, cannot accept that. It's 10:45. 10:45. World languages for both teams. Russian is the most widely spoken member of what Indo-European language group? Seth.
Slavic.
Slavic. Very good. Film and television for both teams. Some movies originally lasting 2 hours have been shown on network TV for a time 5 to 10 minutes shorter. No scenes were cut from the film. How was this done? Mackenzie.
The film was sped up.
Film was sped up. Very good. Shown at a greater speed. Geometry is the next category. If the sum of the lengths of the edges of a cube is 120 inches, what is the volume of the cube? Anarup?
Yeah, I thought I had it, but I didn't.
All right. Cannot accept that. Sorry. Lancers? Lancers, chance to steal this geometry question. If the sum of the lengths of the edges of a cube is 120 inches, what is the volume of the cube? Clara?
8,000.
It's not 8,000, it's 1,000. 1,000. Sports for both teams. This injury is known amongst carpenters caused by constant impact of hammering. It's most commonly associated with a popular
Tennis elbow.
Anarup, it is tennis elbow. Make sure, guys, I call on you before you answer. I know you're excited. Vocabulary. This seaman's torture involved dragging a person through the water under the hull of a ship. What is it called? Nathan.
Waterboarding?
It is not waterboarding. It is close. Southwest, you have a chance to steal this vocabulary question. This seaman's torture involved dragging a person through the water under the hull of a ship. What is it called? Anarup.
Waterlogging?
It is not waterlogging. It's keel hauling. Keel hauling. And imagine all the things we've mentioned would not be good. General knowledge for both teams. Name one of the three differences, only one here, between a teepee and a wigwam. Mackenzie.
Teepees are made out of hide and wigwams tend to be made out of branches.
Very good. Yep, we've also taken a shape difference and then mobility as well. Both teams, science is the category. What part of the brain coordinates muscular movements and posture? Mackenzie.
The cerebral cortex.
Cannot accept cerebral cortex. Anarup.
Cerebellum.
The cerebellum. Economics for both teams. Kind of it's a multiple choice question here. The four basic factors of production include all of the following except this: land, labor, management, capital, government. Henry.
Management.
I'm sorry, cannot accept that. Timberwolves, chance to steal this economics question. The four basic factors of production include all of the following except what? Is it land, labor, management, capital, or government? Seth.
Government.
It is government. Religion for both teams. By what ecclesiastical act is a member of the Roman Catholic Church deprived of benefits and privileges of membership? Oh, Nathan.
Excommunication.
Excommunication. Literary terms for both teams. Name the term brought to literature by Carl Jung, which means the primordial images shaped by the repeated experiences of mankind. It also means the original form or model. Anarup?
Primordial?
It's not primordial. Lancer's chance to steal those literary terms. The name of the term brought to literature by Carl Jung, which means the primordial images shaped by the repeated experiences of mankind or the original form or model. Clara?
The archetype?
The archetype. It's very. Geography, cities. Name Nevada's lively ghost town near the mythical Ponderosa. Oh, Seth?
Reno.
It is not Reno. Lancer's chance to steal this right before the end of the game here. Name Nevada's lively ghost town near the mythical Ponderosa. Nathan.
Black Rock City.
It's not Black Rock City, it's Virginia City. Virginia City. That siren does denote the end of our game. We had a highly contested second round. It was excellent. Blue Valley Southwest comes out on top with a score of 21. Shawnee Mission East 17. The score will remain that way for the challenge that we had earlier in the game has been overruled. So join us again next time here on Categories as we continue to bring you the best and brightest minds of high school students all throughout Johnson County.